Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Vernita Glenn White. I'm a strategic transformational coach, and I am here with my good friend, my like minded sister, Valerie Jenkins. I know her as Val, but I'll let her introduce herself and then what results she produced in the world. So, Val, who are you? What are you up to? Introduce yourself, please.
Good afternoon, Dr. V. Thank you for having me to be a part of your platform. Yes, I am Valerie. I go by Val, but I most importantly am a coach, a business coach, and I empower women to become the best version of themselves by creating their three B's. So I walk women through that journey of creating their three B's, building their business, building their bank account, but most importantly, building their legacy. So I guess you can call me the 3B lady.
The 3B lady. I love that. That is great. And I know your journey to start that. But what I want people to know is you're not just out here saying that you want to help women with these 3Bs. You are 3Bs. So can you give us just a little bit background of how you transitioned to like business coaching? Like what happened before you got to that?
Oh, awesome question. So I've already always knew that I wanted to have a business, right? And I tapped into what it is that I am good at doing. So I really went back into starting from my childhood, like the very things that people are always asking me about, but most importantly, what I am passionate about, and that's really creating. So I started my business, CHBH, Creative Hands by Him. And it really just started off so small in terms of just putting together just different events for my family, for girlfriends, for different, like, organization. And then by the time I looked around, it was like a business. I am a business. And I created this business, which really in turn is who I am, which is a part of my brand. So, going back to what you said, like, I'm not just out here just, empowering women, but I'm actually sharing with women what I do. And for those that want to create a business, to start a business, I tap into what it is that they're passionate about doing. Not only what it is that they're passionate about doing, but what is their purpose? Because for a very long time, to be honest with you, Dr. V, I didn't know what my purpose was.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I needed to like tap into that. And once I moved out of the narrative that everybody else put on me and started operating in my purpose, hula, the magic started happening, if you will.
Yes, magic. Yes. I I love Val because we were in a program together, and Val is quiet. She observes. She go with the flow pretty much, and just she's from New York now, so I'll say that. And we were just listening and talking, and then people like to start businesses or say businesses, and it took a couple of weeks for me to realize that, oh, she like legit, like she didn't just start like you. And I'm put this out there. Some people jump into the coaching space um on something else, or they start, no offense against Etsy shops. I mean, people are doing millions of dollars on Etsy shops, so I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about people that may have dabbled a little bit, and then all of a sudden they want to be business coaches. And it was like, have you actually built a full business? Val was just sitting up in the meeting in the group. She has built a full business, and she doesn't brag. She's very humble, but every now and then, stuff would slip out, and I was like, "What? What?" So I love that. So that's why I wanted you to talk about your event planning business first, because you're not just out here saying, "Oh, I had something going on. I can coach other women and empower." No, I've built this, and we're not talking about a little bit on the side. You are a company.
Yes.
So I want to lay that out there because I'm just seeing so much happening. People just popping out. I'm gonna help you be a six-figure person. I'm gonna help you build this business. I'm gonna help you do that. And it was like, well, have you? Especially in the business and the financial space. So she got experience and credentials, people. She is legit. So that's why I want to talk more about that. So thank you for sharing.
And Dr. V, if I could just
Mhm.
add to that, I
Yes.
didn't even realize that that I was a coach. And I think that is, going back to the program that you and I were a part of, that actually helped me to uh, tap into exactly who I am within my business
Mm,
and what I have to share, because I didn't realize that. That goes back to, allowing other people to write your narrative opposed to you writing it. So with that training that, I, experienced and continue to still experience, yes, I am a coach because I'm able to then coach other women to where they want to go because I've been there. I am doing it. So I think that is very important to also to point out. So thank you.
exactly. But so now that you've said that, that still leads into our next part. You talked a little bit about it, but how would you also describe yourself? And you can do this. I've asked people either they describe themselves only personally and then professionally, or they combine the two and describe themselves. So, however you would describe yourself.
Sure. I think that the two go hand in hand, right? It's not that, professionally I take my coat off when I'm, in my personal life. I believe that who I am personally is the same person that I am professionally. Give you an example, as a single mom, I am committed, dedicated to ensuring that I raise my son with values in morals. And that is how I operate also in my professional walk. So it's not that, okay, personally, I'm this way, and then professionally, I put on another coat or that cape. It's the same cape, but I then just transition into this is personal Val, but also this is professional Val. So it's the same walk, it's the same value, it's the same morals, it's the same passion and drive as one with the other. They both work hand in hand.
Yeah, I love that you are the same person at your core, and a lot of times I know I struggle with that. I was two different whole people, you know.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I do appreciate you saying that. It's not about you switching up. It's once you understand who you are at your core, it doesn't matter where you are personally and professionally. And I like when you say you just transition the cape. It's not like you take the cape fully off. It's like, I just got to adjust it a little.
Right.
Oh my goodness, that is great. Okay, so you may know or you may not know, but you do know that I wrote this book called Embracing Grit for Greatness, Becoming Professional, Powerful Through Personal Empowerment. And the people that, so here it is. I usually wasn't showing it, but people started showing. They're like, "Where's your book?" And I was like, "Okay, I'll show it." But that wasn't the purpose of this. But whatever. So you know that, and I just want to say thank you on camera because Val was one of the people who went through it and gave me feedback. Like for real, sometimes you ask people and then they say they will, but they don't. But Val was one of the people that actually gave me feedback, and she was with me through that process of me writing the book. So this is a very special interview. So she understands that process because yeah, it was a quick one, and anyway. So, so we're going to break down the title of the book because I love hearing different opinions, especially from powerful professional women and their understanding about certain things. So the first part is grit. So what does grit mean to you?
Wow. Awesome question. First of all, I want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey because it was very inspiring. So thank you. And I believe all of that is a part of grit. Like just having the guts to
Mm,
go out and do what you know is your purpose in life, right? So having that guts, even when you don't feel it 100%, but you know it deep down in your belly to the bottom of it is having that gut regardless of what who or even how you feel about things. And then the other piece of it is having that resilience to just keep going on even in difficult times, even in obstacle. It's easier to say that you have resilience, but it's another thing to actually display it and to actually walk that, right? And then just being ready to just, react. being ready to not to be reactive, but proactive, taking initiative, looking at the ins and outs, what life has to offer you. And, I know this is very cliche, but it's like, taking those lemons that, that you are given sometime and making not even lemonade, but making a nice little refreshing cocktail. So
Yes,
being able
cocktail.
to, react, being able to take that initiative. And then the other piece is, which I say as women today, is being tenacious, having that tenacity to go after and get what it is that that not only that you deserve, but you desire.
Mm. Ooh, that was, oh my goodness. It sounds like I need to do a part two. We got, guts to go out, to be resilient, react, but you made it like proactive, and then to be tenacious. Oh, I love all of that. That's okay, Grit. Okay,
A
Grit.
spicy, a little flavor.
And then yes, lemon cocktails. They do say that, and we say cliches a lot, but I like a good cocktail. So I like when you said go after what you deserve, but also desire, because sometimes I want a little strong lemonade, and I just don't want it to be regular lemonade. So
Exactly. Right.
okay, so what does so the next part is greatness. What does greatness mean to you?
Greatness means to me living in my truth, walking in my purpose. Everything is if for me personally, I'm driven by my purpose. So walking in that, but not only just walking that, but walking in that bold, walking in that for other women that may need that encouragement, that may need to see another woman, able to take on some of the things that they feel that they can't do. It's just like, if I see someone with your book, to see you were very, very inspiring. And yeah, in a short period of time, but this was something that was already in you. So you stepped out in your greatness that was already in you, and you inspired so many other women. Certainly, you inspired me. So that is what greatness is, walking in your purpose.
It didn't feel great at the time. It did not feel great. We had some other stuff
Yeah,
going on. I mean, yes, it
yeah,
was the pandemic, but we had some other stuff happening. So
right.
it didn't feel great. But I do appreciate you saying, but it goes with your definition of great. I mean, grit, going after it. You don't know what's happening, just being resilient, tenacious, and then greatness does eventually come up. So thank you for saying that I inspired you, because you inspire me too,
Thank
or
you.
you have, and you still do inspire me. Uh, so I want to know, because we talked about this a little bit about us being in a program together. I want to know your thoughts about personal development or personal growth, especially as a professional woman. What are your thoughts about being a part of having a personal growth journey?
Oh, I think it is so very important, especially as a professional, especially as an entrepreneur, especially as someone that other people are looking up to. Making that an investment in myself for personal growth, it only helps me to be a better me, professionally and personally. I've you know, taken up so many different self-development courses. I have a self development coach, and I see the growth in the how I'm no longer Val, a 2018 Mercedes. I am Val 2.0, 2021,
Come on now.
Maybach or a Maserati. So
Yes.
are supposed to, with self development, you're supposed to evolve, you're supposed to grow, right? Nothing stays the same. So as I'm getting that water and being nourished, and I am growing, and I'm then able to be a better me to help other people along the way to be a better them. So it's not really just the personal growth is really, really not about me, but it's really about how I'm able to impact other people.
So tell me about what do you think the difference is? Like, what if someone says, well, I can just read some books, to inspire me, or watch some videos. I don't need to really, because you mentioned a coach, and then they'll say, well, I don't really need a personal growth or personal development coach. What are your thoughts about that, or your opinion on that?
First, I want to say to each his own, right?
Mhm.
That may work for you, but I can safely say for me, having a coach that is able to celebrate those milestones, that's able to encourage me to walk that journey with me, it does a little bit more than just reading a book or taking on a YouTube video. To having that connection, to actually getting feedback to
Mhm.
see this is where you are. If you're in the mall and you ever go to the sign that says you're right here, but
Mhm.
you want to go over to Neiman Marcus, you need to do some things that either you need to walk, take an elevator, escalator. So along that journey, there are other little stores that you do see. There are other little areas that you can kind of like celebrate as you get to Neiman Marcus, where you're able to go and get that big prize and that customer service with excellent experience, if you will. I love Neiman Marcus. Not that I can go there all the time, but
I
I especially
know.
like the customer service, how they
I
come
know.
around the
Come,
desk.
yes, or
Yeah,
take you in the back, depending on what.
right. Depending on which, department you're going, you may have a little champagne.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
I know I digress, but I believe that there's a to each his own in terms of watching a YouTube or reading a book. If that works for you, that's great. For me, making that investment in a self-development coach has yielded itself to be very beneficial for me, and I would certainly recommend
Yes, I love first that you said yes. It is to each your own, to each their own, or however that goes. But the
it.
other part is when you talk about it. You didn't say this, but I heard you say, kind of say it depends on what you desire. So if what you desire you can get it from a book or a video, then that's cool. And at one point, that's it works. And then it's like when you start seeing something over here, and it's like, okay, I want to get the Neiman Marcus, but I'm still at Macy's, and I how am I gonna, get over there? And then to have someone with you along that journey to say, don't go here, don't do that. I'm glad you made this progress. Don't go down the elevator, don't go. So I think you're right. It just depends on what you desire. And I'll add this: how fast do you want to get there?
Exactly. Exactly.
So I agree with that. The next part is, well, first, have you always been an entrepreneur as in your adult life?
So, funny enough, I've always been an entrepreneur. It's a part of my blood. It is a part of my DNA. It is, as far as I can remember myself, I had the first lemonade stand on the block. It was like blinged out. It was tricked out. I delegated responsibility. So I've always had that entrepreneur spirit. And as I, grew and as I got older, then I put that into what I'm passionate about doing, which is creating
Okay.
experience, an opulent experience.
Yes. Look, Val is on another level. She didn't mention Neiman Marcus, Maybachs, and Maseratis for no reason. That's my soul sister right there. We love a high end experience. So opulent. That's look. Listen to the words, people. The reason why I asked that question is because part of me, the women I work with are professional women who still are in like careers, so we know about professional development. So I'm new to entrepreneur land. So I just want to know, like, what is considered some sort of professional development for an entrepreneur, if that makes sense. Because I really don't know. I never thought to ask this question.
I think that's a good question. It's one to definitely take pause on. I would say one would be mindset,
Mm,
right? Shifting that mindset. You have to first you have to first believe that you can be successful way before you are successful, right? Professionally and personally. But if you have the same old mindset, you're not going to get there. So, a part of personal development is also that mindset coach or coaching to have someone to actually help you shift. Once again, to each his own. If you feel that you can get that from a book or a YouTube video, then have at it. For me personally, I need to have someone that has been where I am, that is where I need to go already, and that can take me on that journey, not to do the work for me,
Right.
but also to show me how it's done and to walk with me there until I get there. But you have to already have been there. So I can't have a mindset coach that is, well, woe is me, and I don't know if we can do this. And you're trying to tell me how to get it done, but you haven't had that shift. And I
Mhm.
believe that growth mindset is something that happens daily. It's not a one and done. It is something that happens daily. So going back to video, YouTube video, fine. Books, fine. But for me, it is taking that to the next level. And a part of self development is also the mindset piece.
100% agree. So, along your entrepreneurial journey, did you have a business coach, or did you not know about that world of business coaching? You were just out here like, look, this is what I want to do, and this is what it is.
Yeah. When I initially started, no, I did not have a business coach.
Mhm.
This was something that I wanted to do. This is something that I know that I enjoy doing. This is something that I tapped in and said, this is my purpose. But it's not just putting together events, but it's actually walking and being intentional about what I'm doing. So initially, I did not have a business coach. But as I started to grow in my business, I knew that I needed to have someone that can provide a little bit more structure for me, someone that was able to give me that shift in mindset to take me to the next level in my business, someone that can show me that you too can still have a 9 to 5 and be successful with having a business, but moving it to the next level. Because to be honest with you, I suffered with, oh my gosh, I'm succeeding in this. I don't want to get to the next level. I think that's called, imposter syndrome, afraid to succeed, to go to
Yeah,
the next
fear of
level.
success is a real thing. Hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. So afraid to move to the next level. So I
Ah,
needed to have that mindset in order to move to the next level because I was getting in the way of myself. I wasn't allowing myself to expand because my thinking wouldn't allow me because I didn't know any better.
mhm.
So that's where that mindset coach came in with that self development.
Right. I like that you put mindset, whether it was personal growth or professional growth, and I love how you talk about it from the entrepreneurial perspective, because I maybe I always had it and was just fighting it because I mean I've seen examples of it, but it was like no one really in my immediate family did that. I mean, my granddad had ideas and he would do things on the side and things like that. Or everyone always did something like on the side, but never say we're gonna leave this and we making a business. So technically, I think I'll be the first one to really do this. But like you said, it's a mindset, and it wasn't until the mindset, it was like, can you stop thinking like an employee? Like you have to do this. It was a whole shift, and I'm still shifting. So it was like, regardless of all the degrees or credentials or professional development, all of that other stuff, it started with the mind. So I appreciate you saying that for people who want to start businesses. You have to think about it before you get there. You have to be in that space before you get there. And then I also like that you said you took yourself to this level and you were successful. I mean, other people could see you successful, but you know that there was something like, I need more, but you're like, no, I'm gonna just chill right here. And then it's a tug that's like, yeah, you know, you want to go up here, you know, you want to go, but you needed someone to bring you along. Well, I'll say push because, you know, coaches don't drag you,
Right.
but
So,
to show
yeah.
you what's possible.
Mhm.
Yes, I love that. I do want to know what defines success for you,
Mhm.
because I think you're a successful woman, you know, especially when you be talking about your trips and stuff.
Thank
And the
you.
things that you do. I consider you a successful woman, but I want to know your definition of success.
Sure, absolutely. I believe that success I don't look at it as a monetary thing, right? Of course, I want to, make money. Who doesn't want to make money, right? But I look at success as what impact am I making on other people? Can I see the women that I coach, can I see a difference in their lives, right? I talked initially about empowering women to become, a better version of themselves by creating their three B's. I can want that for you all day long, but to actually see the fruits of what I have actually imparting into other people, to me, that is success. Success. My story, I know my story, right? But my story is really not for me. My story is for the next woman that is waiting on the sideline. Once again, that feels that this is impossible. I can't do this. But if I can show or shine my light, and as a faith-based woman, there's this scripture that says, let your light shine for men to see. So if other women could see the light shining in me, that gives them that hope, that drive, that, oh, okay, if she can do it, I can do it. Knowing a little bit about her story, where she came from. She lived in a women's shelter for 2.5 years, and she is a single mother, but she was able to raise her child. She was able to start her business, to be successful, to have a 9 to 5. Let my light shine for other women to see. I think that to me is success for me, and to see that I've made an impact in other people's lives.
I like that you equated success with impact, because that is powerful. And then so some a lot of people where they say, oh, money is not important. Yes, it is, because the more income you have, the more impact
Absolutely.
that you have, especially if you're already a good person inside, because that
Yeah.
doesn't mean everybody with money creates impact. But I do want to say that, because sometimes people feel bad for wanting more money or thinking about money or equating success. So I'm glad you said impact first, because that helps people understand, okay, if you want to keep having massive impact, you need to have massive income.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because one of my personal development coaches says, in order, she believes that every good person should be wealthy, because when wealthy people have money, they do more good in the world. When good people have money, they do more good in the world. So that
Absolutely.
means impact. So I love that. One question I do want to expand on is, you talked about light, and I just want to know, this just popped up. Why do you think some women, or a lot of women, and I've been one of them, don't really let their light shine? We know the whole thing about what I go through is not for me. Growing up in church, we know, you share your testimony to help other people. But why do you think we often dim our light, or if we equate light to story, why we don't share as much? Not to like tell business, but to share for inspiration. Why do you think we don't do that?
I think it's I use myself for an example because I have to use myself for an
Mhm.
example. Right? I can like share with other, someone else's story. But for me, I think a lot of it is cultural. I think a lot of it is generational. I think a lot of it is what you may have experienced. I share with young women that I work with that work with other women. Be very careful and mindful of your words, because they're very powerful. They're powerful. There's life and death in the tongue, right? And which, once again, going back to, my scripture, because I apply scripture with, my professional walk, with my personal walk, with my business walk. So that's all I know. But going back, there's life and death in the tongue. So you have to be mindful of what you say about you, because you're listening, right? You
Yeah.
have to be careful about what you say about someone else, especially a younger person, because you can take a pen, and what you etch on into their soul is something that will carry them for a very long time. It may be a lifetime. It may be the very thing that you say stop them from going out and being their greatest. So always speak life into every living thing. So going back to your question, it could be generational, it could be cultural, it could be something that someone had said to you. It could be that you just don't want to be vulnerable, to open yourself, to allowing people to hear your story. But as I got older and as I matured more in my business, once again, my story is not for me. There was a time where I was very ashamed to share my story. But the minute I started to speak out, and I had a voice and I heard my voice, I never stopped speaking. There's, as you said, yes, sometimes I'm very quiet and I'm very absorbed. I'm just like listening and just seeing what's going on. But trust me, I have a voice. And when it's time for me to speak, I will speak
Yes.
up. And no one could stop me from speaking. But a lot of that goes back to, once again, what we were told as little girls. So we need to break that generational curse, if you will, because there's so many people, so many women, and I keep going back to women because that's who I work with. That's where I feel that I get the I'm making the impact with. So going back to my story, it's not just for me. It is for the women that are waiting on the sideline for me to come. It is waiting for the women that I work with, in my professional life that are saying, wow, if you can do this and do that, show me, tell me, because you're very inspiring to me. You're very motivating to me. So I have to walk in that walking intentionally and walking boldly, because you don't know who is looking and who you will impact. So drop the generational curse where, you're not supposed to talk our business. You're not supposed to talk your business. Yes, within reason. But if you have a story, it needs to be shared.
That is powerful because it is like, I grew up with don't tell all your business, don't hush. And even professionally, it was like you shouldn't brag on yourself, like let your work speak for yourself. And again, there's a line to that, but if someone isn't reaching their full potential, maybe because they haven't seen an example or they haven't been inspired, and you could be the very person to do that. So I'm glad you said that. Like we talk about breaking generational curses, but a lot of people don't say how. And
Right.
I'm very practical. So this is one way to break it. Like share that you were in some trenches. You don't have to tell all the business, but people need to know that you don't just come up looking polished. You went through some
Been
things,
in the
and
mud. Yeah.
right, you've been there, and then I think we don't share that a lot, or we think that we're the only ones. So I appreciate you saying that. And then yes, voice is powerful. I am just now getting. I mean, I guess it started last year or the year. I don't know. I can speak professionally all the time about all of those things, but sharing my story, being vulnerable, I was like, mm-mm.
Mhm.
But it is a powerful thing to share your voice when it's appropriate. And yes, Val is quiet, but she's been on stages, and when she's right, when she opens her mouth, that's the other part. You got to have something to say when you open your mouth, because a lot of people out here like noisemakers, and it's like, what are you really saying? So yes, have a powerful voice. So that's the other part. Don't just be out here just rambling and running your mouth. Have something to say.
Talk about, right, right.
Yes, thank you for that. I do want to know, you've had this journey and you talked a little bit about your background and some of the things that you went through, but I want to know, is there anything that you ignored or you think you had to give up at a certain part of your life to reach your level of success or impact?
Well, twofold. I believe the balance piece of it, right? I probably, well, let me back up. Once again, the saying, trust the process. I believe that I should have trusted me first
Mm,
before trusting the process. Believe
wow.
more in me, because you can go through the process, but if you don't trust yourself going through the process, it's not going to yield the same thing. So trusting in me, believing in me first before going through the process. The thing that I feel that I think the balance piece of it, meaning professionally, in my career and having that, work life balance. I think that I could have been better at, because yes, I've missed some really important dates, some really important times, birthdays, and different, special celebrations because being so focused in my career in building my business. So if I could go back, I would probably say having that balance, that work life, that personal and professional balance, enjoying the fruits of my labor. I'm doing that now. Hence, taking my vacations. I mean, with COVID and everything, I haven't been able to do as much, but, um, you know, I treat myself at least twice a year to a trip out of the country. I just came back from Athens and I had a wonderful 10 days there and,
Yes.
spent
Yes.
some time in Santorini and just really enjoying the fruits of my labor. I wish I would have done a little bit more of that, but it's never too late, right? So at
Yeah.
least I acknowledged it. I am making a change with that and I am enjoying it. But I would have to say the one thing that would be having that work life balance.
You said two great things, and we do hear trust the process, but rarely do we hear trust yourself first. And especially as women, like we were born to do that, but for some reason we don't trust ourselves. We stop doing that. And I'm like you, I trusted too many processes. I trusted too many of those. And you're right, it just messed me up like in a way because I if whatever trust I did have in myself, it was really gone. Because I
Right,
was focusing so much on a process. So that is powerful. Trust yourself first, regardless of the process.
right.
That is powerful, and I'm enjoying the fruits of your labor. Even people who work and save money and do all those things, I don't think because I was a in that space as well. I don't think we enjoy the fruits of our labor as much as we could have because it's always about save or you still got to go to work or don't take too many days off. It's like why
Right.
you know if you're and I used to do this until and I tell people like I was a whole different person before I went to my doctoral program. Like this is
Mm,
where all this chaos happened because I was like I would always be on a trip. I would always be buying something. I always enjoyed the fruits of my
right.
life. Even as a classroom teacher, I was like I knew I look I made
Right.
it work. I was opulent. But
Yes.
then but then going through that the doctoral process, I trusted that more than myself. And it started this whole breakdown, hence why I had to write this book. But we think we gotta wait until we get older. We think we gotta wait till we retire or wait till they tell us to have a vacation instead of enjoying. And then we look at all these other people and so well, how they get to do that? They made the decision.
Exactly. That's it. As simple as that. Just make the decision.
Make the
That's it.
decision. But yes, so I'm glad you said that you don't have to wait until you get a certain amount of money or a certain amount of this. I mean, don't be out here reckless, but
Yeah. Within
enjoy. Yes, yeah, especially as an entrepreneur, I'm learning that too. I'm still like kind of new at this, but celebrate those milestones, and then however you choose to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Yes, I love that.
yeah.
So, switching gears, I am in the middle of well, not in the middle. I am doing this movement, embracing brilliance, and I want to know, especially from a woman again who I think is successful and brilliant. I want to know your thoughts. Like when you hear that phrase, embracing brilliance, what does that mean to you?
Hmm. I think in walking and living in your excellence, walking and living in um, being exceptional and what not only just walking and living but also sharing that because you want other people to get in on the movement of exceptional, right, of living an exceptional life, walking in as as an exceptional person, and then they're able to impact other people. That's how you have a movement. It's not just about you, but so living that, walking in that, and also sharing that. So you bring other people on into that movement.
And that's it. See, and I don't share these. I don't discuss these answers with people. So I want you all to know I don't share that. But that's exactly what I wanted embracing brilliance to be. It's like I want you to uncover what you already have inside, and then you go and impact other people. Because I say this all the time, I believe we all embrace our brilliance, the world truly could be a better place, because we will
Absolutely.
all operate at the level we're supposed to operate. So you said it exactly, without me even telling
Wow.
you. So
Great minds think alike.
yes, that's why
Like
we're like-minded
like-minded
sisters.
sisters.
Yes. I want to know, with all of your experiences and everything and all of your accomplishments and things, what would you tell your younger self? Like, what advice would you give to your younger self?
See the greatness in me and believe in me. Where I am today, I believe everything happens for a reason. I had to mature into that, into the person I am. And I am still maturing and I am still growing, right? But I believe that because it was already, greatness was already in me, just believing, just believe in you, Valerie. You're going to be okay. You're going to get there, but believe in you. And I feel like if I started that early on, not that I would be a lot further because I believe in life, I am right where I'm supposed to be, but I certainly could have been more proactive in getting there. Once again, it goes not to be reactive, but proactive. But the most important thing is believing in me, no
Wow.
matter what anyone says. Write my own story, write my own narrative, but believe in me.
Absolutely. And it sounds like such a simple word, but it's a very hard thing to do sometimes, to fully believe in yourself, because with every transition, it's like, okay, you think you got it. And then you make another shift and it's like, oh, you got to believe in yourself again. But it's an ongoing process. And for something so small, it is definitely powerful. And it goes back to the mindset. If you don't see it, if you don't believe it, I know it's corny, but if you don't believe it, you can't achieve it. But it's so
Exactly. I could want it for you all day
all
long,
day
but
long.
you have to want it for yourself, just as even more so than I want it for you.
Right. I don't think we focus a lot on that. I'm an educator, a lot of people know, by profession. And I think I have a gift of teaching. Like, I've always been a teacher. I always wanted to teach somebody something. Even at 2 years old, I started reading, and then I would try to go tell my grandparents how to read, and it was like, we know how to do this. You're new to this, okay? But I don't we focus so much, and for me in the profession, on content and what you should know about society and the world, but not enough about truly believing and investing yourself even as a young person. And I think if we did that more, then we wouldn't have to go through all of this. Like, I shouldn't be looking for a personal development coach in my 30s and 40s. Not saying there's anything wrong with that. You get to where you are, but just imagine if we had
Start the
that.
process earlier,
Yeah,
right?
started that process and understand, like, even if somebody says something, you got some tools to get yourself back together. Then like, you probably still need someone along the way, but you wouldn't be starting from ground zero.
That's right.
And that's why I shifted some things of what I want to do. Like, yeah, I love math. I think everyone should know STEM, and that's just how I am. But then at the same time, yeah, I had to tell some people, you got to believe in that you can do these projects. You got to believe that you know this stuff. So I
Eh,
can teach you this all day.
right.
And people are like, well, what's happening with the curriculum? I said, because the children don't believe, the teachers don't
Right.
believe.
But that's the truth. Like you said, it's simple as that. It sounds so simple, but actually believing it and executing and doing
Mhm,
it is two
mhm.
different things.
2 different things.
Yeah,
So I'm glad you touched on that, because that is it. Believe. Wow. Yes, it's simple to say, but it's a bigger task than we give credit to.
right, right.
Wow. So that was your younger self. I want to know, like, where do you see yourself like 20 years from now?
Wow. Still growing and still making an impact. I know what my purpose is in life. And so walking in my purpose. And that looks like impacting other women, sharing my story. My story is not done
Mhm.
until I close my eyes and transition on. So there is still work to be done. There's work to be done for my nieces and my grandkids that haven't been born yet, and my great grand, and other women that I may come in, that I may encounter. So my work is not done walking in my purpose.
Mhm. Yes. So, if you want to know more, you've heard Val talk about the three B's, and she's not just talking for the sake of talking. Val wrote a book, The Three B's. Tell us more about your book, where we can find it. And then I also want you to share more about whichever business you want to share, but it's probably more so of your coaching business. So, you talk about that part of you.
So sure, the three B's once again is building your business, building your bank account, but most importantly, building your legacy. Legacy to me is not something that after you leave, you can have your legacy today as you are living. People are like, oh my gosh, okay, my legacy, legacy is today.
That's
Legacy
a
is
great
today.
point.
You are building your legacy for today, not for when you leave from here, not for, yes, tomorrow as it lives on, but you're building it today. So I really talk about building the three B's, and it's really about building an event planning company. And it's really just a walk through what I did, things that I wish I knew when I was going through building my business, that I share with people that want to get into that space. Once again, as I shared with you earlier, I didn't know I was a coach. But when I realized I was a coach, when people would come to me and ask me about how do I do what I do, I said, oh, my story would always be same old, same old. I do what I have to do until I can do what I want to do. So like, yeah, that's a nice little story, but how did
Yeah,
you
but
get to do this? So I would actually walk women through that journey. I know I want to build a business. I don't know what I want to do. So I talk about in the book all the things that I have went through with building an event planning, but there's also gems in there. If you want to
yep,
build a
it is.
business, you can take out of there on just how you are a brand. You don't create this brand, you are the brand. So it talks about the brand. It talks about just working and following up, how
Mhm.
to secure clients, and how to take this not just for the moment for an event, but take this to the next level. How to have those healthy forged business relationship, how to execute, how to work with not I say anybody that I'm working with, they're not just a purveyor. They're not just a vendor. They're a business
Mhm.
partner. Because if you are a partner, you're in partnership. You have an invested into what we're building here because you're in this partnership with me. So it's things like that, business principles that I walk you through, and it's everything that I really experience. So, yeah, the book you can get on Amazon, or you can go over to valjenkins.com, send me an email, or you can go over to my Instagram, _Val Speaks on the gram, or go over to Facebook, valjenkins.com. I'm all over social media. You can look
Yes.
me up.
I will have Val's information with the book, and I also have Val's book, and it almost make you. I was like, I could do an event planning business. I was like, no, that's not my ministry, not my calling. I mean, it make you want to like, nope, that's I'll go higher. I'm not, nope,
Yeah.
nope. But you're right, it is valuable information there, and you can use that for anything else. Just like you said, just the little gems in there can be applied to any area. But yes, I will have that information linked below and all of that. So the same is for your coaching business. Like, do you have programs or do you just do private coaching? Like, how do you do that?
Sure. I do private coaching and I do group coaching. Once again, you can look me up at valjenkins.com. You can go visit my website. I have all of my coaching programs that's listed on my website. You can get a one-on-one, a business in a box if you just want the basics, or I have up to a 12-week program. So you can go and schedule yourself a discovery call, and we can sit down and we can talk about what that next step looks like and what that journey would look like. And yeah.
I like that you said business in a box, and I probably would have. I mean, I don't know if I would have jumped fully, but it would have been a easier transition had I known that I didn't make business sound like I had to have this massive corporation. Had I known that there are ways to have a literal business in a box, it would have been an easier transition. So that's why you have coaches, people, because they can tell you stuff like that, and you don't have to go out here thinking that you need to go build, the next food chain or the next Amazon. If that's you, then cool, but you don't have to start there.
Yeah.
So don't underestimate the power of having a business in
Right.
a box.
And even with that, Dr. V, Amazon, they started somewhere. They
Yeah,
started
they were
small. Jeff
under a
Bezos
bookstore, I
started
think.
in his garage, right?
Yep,
So it
that
is
is true.
the basics, and then it grows into the. So if you want to be the next Jeff Bezos, absolutely. But
Mhm,
it starts with
that's right.
laying out what that plan looks like and walking through that.
The other thing I want to touch on before we wrap up is you talked about, I think this is a fourth B, but the brand. And I remember starting, it was like I'm thinking brand had to be, the type of colors, the script. I mean, you can have all of that, but you said the brand is you. And I didn't know that. And it's like, well, who do you want to be? But then that goes back to everything that you said. Once you mature in yourself, I mean, we're always maturing and growing, but once you recognize who you are, then you understand your brand. Because I look at like some when I first started and the colors and things I had, because I'm thinking that's what people wanted me to have. And then I look at to like what I'm putting out now as I've gotten better in, knowing myself. I was just saying, I started archiving pictures. I'm like, mm-mm. I don't like that, because then I had to understand that who I am is, it don't matter if I did, whatever colors, but it's who I am and how I feel about myself. That is my brand, and
Right.
not a website or color. So I want to put that out there too, especially for you as a business coach. When people hear branding, it's not just about that, it's them.
And just with you even saying that, being vulnerable, right? So whoever's going to listen to this say, oh my gosh, I thought that. But for a coach to actually say that, I'm not the only one. This is a coach, and she said it. This is what she thought, right? So someone will hear that and say, okay, it wasn't just me, but even to see how you have evolved
Mhm.
and how you have grown, even looking back on that, that is even amazing too, right? Because I didn't always know that. So I had to learn that too, right? Because my colors, I love my colors. I still
Yes.
do the whole color thing because it is a part of me. I love purple. I love
Right.
any shade of purple because it's royalty. It is opulence, but that is who I am. It's like
Mhm.
you said, me and my sister, we love high end.
We love
That's
it.
who I am. So it's the things that people see in you that is your brand. You said it. You're like, oh yeah, me and my sister, we love high end. You see me as being
I
high
do.
end, loving high end. That is your brand. That is who you are. So that is what you walk in. That is how you build your client. That is how you build your
Yes.
business on what people see you as. And that is me.
Wow. I thank you for this. Thank you so much for joining me on here. And I didn't get to say this at the beginning, but I am doing these because you are the type of woman I love in my circle, the type of woman I want to eventually work with, so that when people watch these and they associate me with, powerful, opulent, successful women who understand a personal growth journey, not just in words, but also in action. So I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, because I know the world is opening back up and you are booked and busy. So I appreciate that as well. Any final words that you want to say or share?
Well, because I am a faith-based woman, what I would like to share is a scripture, which is Proverb 14:23. Hard work always pays off. Talk puts no bread. Mere talk puts no bread on the table.
And that was Proverbs 14:23.
14:23.
I'm gonna make sure I put that
Yeah.
in here. Wow. All right now. Well, that was the last word, and we're gonna end on scripture. Thank you so much. And thank you. Any comments down below? Make sure you share any comments. I'll make sure I have Coach Val's information down there for her book and her businesses, or and her services, because she does have businesses, but also her services. And then I remember this audience. Remember to be well, be empowered, be bold, and be brilliant. So until next time, bye.
Thank you.